I'm the VP of Sales for Escrow Options. This is something that we want to do for our agents to make sure that they feel supported and they have all the training that they do need. So myself and Michael and Dee are on today, so I want to give them a couple minutes to talk and explain who they are as well. But our goal at Escrow Options is just to be your partner, your advocate, your helper when it looks at growing, when it's time for growing your business. So if there's anything you need from us at Escrow Options, we have you guys covered. So I put my information in the chat group, and like I said, just reach out anytime. Myself, Michael, or Dia will take care of you guys. I hope you enjoy the meeting today. Michael, I'll pass it along to you.
Okay, hi guys. Michael Johnson, sales manager for Orange County area. Yeah, so we've got lots of systems and tools that we offer the agents out there. And I think one of the most important things about our escrow options group and the people that are on this call right now is we've got over 20 years of experience in this industry. So we're kind of the go-to people and know the ins and outs of this. And we're willing to help you guys out in any way. And I'll put my name and number in the chat as well. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions you guys might have. Over to you, Dia.
And I think she may have had to jump off.
Okay. Well, Dia runs a San Diego area as well. So if anybody's has any needs in San Diego area, reach out to us and we'll get you her contact. And yeah, she's an expert in San Diego area. So we're all over Southern California.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and excited for all of you to join the call today. It'll be a great group, but again, talk about what that client journey looks like, and for both buyers and sellers. Maybe in your mind or your head, you just naturally go through a process and through the transaction and certain milestones or communication or processes, but I encourage you all to take the time to map out what that journey looks like, both for buyers and sellers or any clients you work with. I mean, it could be investors and stuff like that. But really today, I just want to talk about some of those we're going to talk about four key points throughout the client journey that I want you guys to, as we go through this, again, jot some things down, maybe take notes on some stuff that you're going to implement into your business that can maybe elevate that client experience. This is going to do a couple of things. One, create those raving fans, right? You're going to anytime that you have an exceptional experience, you talk about it. Also, anytime you don't have an exceptional experience, you definitely talk about it. And a lot of times, folks will go online and start talking about their experience. So we want to make sure that it's a great experience across the board and that we create those marketing warriors, is what I call them, or your VIPs that are going to go out there and help refer you business, so that we're not chasing leads, right? My mantra for 2025 for agents is, are you chasing business or are you attracting business? Right? Are you chasing business or are you attracting business? Chasing is you're just going through the transaction and it's almost like a subconscious thing. You don't really think about it. But we're going through the motions and it's a little bit more maybe scattered or, again, not structured in the way so that everyone gets the same experience. Or are you attracting the business? And that can go hand in hand, not just with the client journey, but also your lead pillars, right? What kind of branding and awareness and reach are you guys doing to then attract that business so you're not constantly having to chase? But at the end of the day, the experience is really going to determine whether or not, one, they're going to come back to you, and two, if they're going to refer you business as well. So again, like I said, we're going to go through this deck. There's a couple of things on the screen that you guys can take a look at, but it's really going to be me talking about some of these key points. But I do have a couple of things for you guys. Here's just an updated buyer questionnaire. We're going to talk about this during the discovery phase, and really listening, right? Diving down a little bit deeper, asking those digging questions, not just, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, or things like that, but really trying to understand what their lifestyle is in that discovery stage, right? As we know, last year we've had some changes in industry and there's some new requirements, which really makes us have to have those consultations when it comes to buyers for sure, and definitely for sellers too. So it comes down to the very beginning, from the moment you start talking to them to after closing. And I wanted to make sure that everyone had some good, solid questionnaires for both buyers and sellers so that you can include those into your business. These are Canva templates, so obviously you guys can update with your information at the bottom, your colors and all your branding and stuff like that. But again, this is going to allow you to have a deeper conversation with them, and it's going to stand out in their mind because you're showing that you care. It's authentic. You're digging deeper. You're part of this journey with them. You're figuring it out with them, and it goes a long, long way for that experience. The other thing I'll share with you guys at the end is just the journey design and checklist here that I put together. Again, it goes kind of hand in hand with what we're going to talk about today, but this will be something tangible you guys can print, or, as you just pick up a piece of paper and write out buyer journey, and then just jot down what are those key milestones, right? That is just a non-negotiable in your business and in your process. Historically, when businesses or humans have structured process in place, you're more confident, your business seems more legit at the end of the day, but it provides a much better experience for your client or customers as well. All right, I'm going to go back to this really quick. All right, and there's a couple of sections too that we're going to make this collaborative. So I'll ask, some questions, and you guys can always unmute or throw it in the chat box. Hopefully everybody can see this screen. Can anybody see the deck? Cool. All right, so of course, you want to deliver that unforgettable experience that builds trust, of course, ensures repeat business, and turns your clients into cheerleaders, right? Those marketing warriors that I talk about. That is a big piece of it. So through this experience, whether it's a new home buyer or a repeat client or a seller, at the end of the day, the goal should be to turn them into someone that's going to go out there and refer you business. And as we know through our own experiences, when we have an exceptional experience, we're going to refer that business when somebody comes up in conversation. I ask you guys this: when is a time that you received an exceptional experience? It could have been like a retail store, maybe a service business. It could be going through a drive-through, right? We've all been there, through the first time that they communicate something to you. How quickly do you get back to them? How quickly do you answer the phone? When you answer or when you talk to them, what does that message look like? Are you busy and frantic and things, or did you take a deep breath and now you're entering the conversation like that? So think about, as you guys are going through and thinking about the both the buyer and seller journeys, your client experience, when was the last time you had an exceptional experience, and how can you translate that into your business? Meaning, what were some of the key things in that experience that made it exceptional? Was it the way that they talked to you? Was it them asking you more questions? I remember back when, before I jumped in real estate, I was in retail. If anybody was in retail, that's always fun. But one of the things that I always trained our store managers and team members on is asking those digging questions or offering things. So, for instance, if you're going into the store and you're buying some bed pillows, and are you then educating them? How I trained my staff is ask them about pillow protectors. Do they know about pillow protectors? How can that extend the life of the pillow, right? You're starting that conversation with them. You're giving them a little bit more information. You're educating them. As we go through this today, you're going to notice that a lot of it is through education and over explaining or over communicating. But don't be afraid that you're going to annoy them, because if you are truly explaining to them the buying process and those key milestones, or an inspection, what does that all entail? In the very, very beginning, that consultation, again, speaking to buyer side, do they know about what that down payment looks like? Do they know what closing costs are, right? You got to talk about those things. It's all about setting expectations And that alone is going to transform the experience, not just for the client, but for you as well. So if you explain things and prepare them for those expectations, it's going to be a lot easier for when things pop up during the transaction and they're already aware, right? You've had certain conversations with them. Maybe not super detailed for that exact situation that popped up, but they're aware of scenarios and things that can come up. Like, what are top things that come up in the inspection period for your market, right? Here in Arizona, I mean, we have a joke that there's two types of homes, one that already had termites and one that's going to have termites, right? It's just a matter of time. But sometimes that could be scary for the client if they've never purchased a home before and they're like, oh my gosh, termites, my whole house is going to fall down. Well, hold on, just so you know, like this is very common for this area. But I encourage you guys to think about what are some of those common things that come up during an inspection or even in escrow, right? Certain things like that. So as you go through this, you're going to hear a lot about just educating that client, setting the expectation up front. The conversation on the listing side is when you're going through that listing presentation and you're negotiating and talking about, the range of price of where you're going to start. Are you having the conversation of, in the case that we need to do price improvements or price reductions, what does that look like? Don't wait until the middle of the transaction or until you're on the market for a month and the house isn't moving, barely any traffic, and then you have to have that conversation, right? It's like, oh, it's out of the blue. No, set the expectations up at front. That way, when the time comes, or if the time comes, you've already prepped them in a way that it's a lot easier for that conversation. All right. Does anybody let me ask you guys this, because I want it to be a little bit more collaborative. Has anybody had an exceptional experience since the new year? Let's go with that. Since the new year. You can mute yourself. You can throw it in the chat box. Could be anything. Could be at a store, gas station. Nothing. No one's had a great experience.
No.
Not yet. We're waiting for it. We're counting on this year, aren't we? But anytime you guys do, historically in the past, if you have, it's made you feel good. It kind of changes your mindset for the day, and it sends a ripple effect. So having multiple of those moments, again, is just going to impact your client in a great way. Why the client experience matters. Here's just a couple stats, because I always like this, connect the dots, right? 89% of consumers switched to competitors after a poor experience. That's why it's so important, again, to make this have a lot of attention on this in your business and making sure that your processes and your milestones as you're going through this are solid. 73% of clients say their experience influences their loyalty, right? Are they going to come back to you? Are they going to come back to you through that after that transaction? And of course, as we know, exceptional experiences equals more referrals and repeat business. Again, I always translate this back to my retail days because it was so important. And as you know, every industry, including real estate, is highly competitive. So what is that leading edge that you have? What is that thing, that experience that folks are going to be out there talking about as they go through? If you go into a Starbucks or somewhere and they're like, they get your drink wrong, or the cashier's like, yeah, here it is. Or, it's just the mood, the tone, everything can change that throughout the entire journey. Whoops. All right, so I broke this down today for four key stages. We're going to talk about your first point of contact, that discovery phase, the transaction itself, right? That middle part, and then of course that post-closing follow-up. A lot of us go through transactions and then it closes, and if we think about it, we reach back out to them, or maybe they're on a drip campaign or something like that. But do you guys have a process set up right now or a timeline on when the transaction closes? What does your communication look like for that? Right? Of course, after closing, congratulations, maybe you're doing a closing gift or something like that. But then what about after that? Do you have any touch points planned in your process, right? Or implemented into your guys' tools like a CRM for reminders? to go through. I don't want you guys to just forget about those clients because you're losing an opportunity and you're losing referral business from them. So we're going to talk about the first contact point first as we go through this. So that first contact, it's like a first date. You only get one chance to make that great impression. Okay, so of course, just like if you go on a first date, you're making sure that your hair is completely the best it's ever looked. You're dressed well, you're prepared, we're on our best behavior, all that kind of stuff. And it's the same when we're meeting new clients, right? We want to make sure that we present ourselves well, in that you have the opportunity to make that first great impression. It's all about preparation and making sure that you are prepared for that consultation and that first point of contact. So again, last year, a lot of things changed and, we're pushed to having those buyer consultations, which is a good thing because you get to have a little bit more one-on-one time. You get to build that relationship. It's not so rushed, right? We should be happy about that aspect of it. You get to go sit in a conference room or go to their house or meet at a Starbucks or wherever it is and have an actual human conversation. It really gives you an opportunity instead of prior, oh yeah, you want to see this house? I'll be there right now. You're throwing stuff around, you're trying to pull it together and all that stuff. No, be more structured with that. And it starts that first point of contact. Things like, hey, I got your referral from so-and-so. Love to help you. I would love to meet you at my office or this location so that we can sit down and really dive into what your goals are. That's really the first step. And at the end of the day, to make sure that it's a good fit for both of us involved, right? So you want to make sure it also, again, a good fit for both of you. We've all been in situations where we've had a client, we're like, do I need this client? Is this going to be worth that in that sense? And some may think that's crazy because you want to take every client. But again, if it's going to distract you and be more of a burden, then it might be better just to refer that off to someone else who maybe have a personality or where they connect better. So the other part of that first contact is you should probably know the different personality types, right? What personality type are you? Are you a D personality, an I personality, a C, and there's one more in there. But do you know your own personality and be able to recognize that in others so that you can fluctuate or that you can kind of be a chameleon and just understand, how they work and how they process things. Part of that, and as we go through this process and talk about the discovery phase, is asking those questions, right? We're going to talk about that. Like, what ways do you prefer communication in that? So I was on a buyer consultation a few days ago and use these checklists and things like that just to, again, get to know them better. But one of the big things is your preferred communication. Not only is that good for you to know, so you know how to communicate to that client, but when you send your deal to escrow options, you can let that escrow officer know, hey, this person really prefers text updates, or this person really prefers email updates or call, or you know what, they don't have a preference, they just want the information, something like that. So same for your lender, right? Don't just hold on to this information, keep it. If you're referring partners out there, make sure that you let them know certain things, personality types or communication methods, so that they can have that experience across the board, right? Through everyone that they come in contact with. The other piece, right, of course, respond quickly and professionally, personalize your introduction. It builds trust and credibility with those reviews and testimonials. But something that I encourage you all is maybe after that first point of contact, you have a video library that you've recorded so you can have a quick video that you can text to them or maybe add into your drip campaigns that just says, hey, I'm Justin, I'm thrilled to help you, find your dream home. Here's a few things to know, right? As we get started in this process, here's a few things to know. It doesn't have to be complicated. It does not have to be long. You don't need a full video series, 100 videos for a transaction. Maybe it's a quick introduction saying, hey, we have an appointment set, a meeting set, looking forward to meeting you and learning more about your goals and buying a home or selling your home. That little personal touch, quick, 10, 15 second, 20-second video, text it to them, and it just solidifies it for them and also just helps build the personality that you have that you're going to bring to the table for them as well. So again, you just want to make sure that communication is huge up front and leverage technology so that they know that you are using the latest and greatest, and that, again, you've gone above and beyond into detail to make sure that throughout this entire process, they are going to be communicated to, educated, and have a great experience. And just so you guys know, if you respond to a new contact, even if it's a referral, within the first 5 minutes, it increases the conversion for that lead or for that contact by 100 times. 100 times. So we've all heard speed to lead. And again, that goes hand in hand with that experience. The amount of times that, I've called a lead or a client or prospect, and within that 5 minutes, like, wow, you got back to me quick, or hey, you got back to me quick. Always put yourself in the consumer's shoes. Okay, we talk about this when we're talking about social media and creating content. Read it, but put yourself in their shoes and what experience you would want to see. Some of you may have gotten into this business because it was a not so great experience. I hear that story all the time. Oh yeah, I went and bought a house, or we sold our house and the agent was just terrible. It just was a mess, right? Remember that. If that's one of the reasons why you got in this business, have you gone through and looked at what that client journey looks like and experience looks like for them? If not, I encourage you to, because it's going to help tremendously. The other idea, for that first point of contact is, do you have some type of packet, whether in physical form or digital, that you are going to send over to them right away after that conversation? Maybe details more about your bio and experience, some client testimonials in there. Hey, looking forward to our meeting. Before our meeting, I'm going to go ahead and send over my welcome packet to you, just so you can have some information and be prepared for some of the questions and things that we're going to talk about during our meeting. Maybe it's a personal note that you're including in there as well. That even goes hand in hand if you're sitting in open house and you meet a homeowner that came into your open house. Are you delivering something to them within 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, whatever that time frame looks like? But what are you getting to them as well, right? Again, speed to lead. Whether they're ready to sell or not today, that alone, something tangible that they can hold on to and remember, but also the fact that you went out and did something for them, right? It starts to build that relationship. You said that you were going to deliver something to them, and you did. You got so many brownie points for that right off the bat. It's unbelievable, right? That goes a long way. So that's the other part, is if you are going to promise something, make sure that you deliver on it. So don't set yourself up for failure by over promising and under delivering. You want to make sure that you do quite the opposite, right? Under promise just about, and over deliver, and it does a pretty remarkable thing. So again, through that first point of contact, speed is critical. Try to personalize the experience as much as possible. If you can create some type of video or some type of follow-up process after that point of between that phone call and that meeting, can you get something delivered to them to start, setting up the expectation for what that meeting is going to look like for them? Does anybody already deliver some type of welcome packet or something before that actual meeting? Could be a welcome packet, could be a get to know me.
Justin, I know in my office, a few of the agents, they do have a welcome package before they meet with their clients. Like you said, get to know me a little bit about me and how who I am.
Love it. Yeah,
Okay.
It's awesome. It goes, and here's the thing: if they're coming back, if you're working with somebody, this is one of the good questions to ask them. Whether it's, I'd probably do it on the phone, right? Have you been through a real estate transaction before? Why is that important? Because if they have, they may say, yeah, I did. It was, an okay experience or something like that. Sometimes when you ask a simple question, and they felt it in a positive or negative way, they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you. Or if they say, yes, I purchased before, this is my second time buying, cool. How was the experience before? How was the experience with the agent that you worked with before? Simple question. Because here's the thing. You're going to uncover if they say, it was pretty good, not amazing. Okay, cool. What wasn't amazing about it? Because I ultimately want to make sure that I exceed your expectations throughout this process. I just want to make sure that it's a good experience. So asking some of those digging questions is super, super important. All right, we're going to go on to stage number 2, which is one of my favorite stages, because again, you're building the relationship with these prospects and clients. So really, this is where the relationship starts to deepen. And I want you guys to think about yourself as guides or detectives and educators throughout this whole process, right? Your goal is to uncover not just what your client wants, but why they want it. Okay, this is why it's important in that discovery stage. This is why I was excited when, buyer brokers kind of became required, and it really stopped us to have those consultations because at the end of the day, it's going to help you build stronger relationships. So of course, you need to understand your client or clients, right? Ask insightful questions, those digging questions. That is where whether it's for a buyer or seller, this is more so for you, right? At the end of the day. But it benefits the experience and the consumer on that side because more than likely they've worked with an agent before. If they have, that did not go through this. But this is going to help you remember all these critical things, keep you structured, and go in a timeline that makes sense. So again, you're going to go through and ask questions like, have you purchased before? We talked about on the phone, you said no. Or do they have children? Cool. What are their ages? How many family members do they have? Do they have any pets in there? Some of these, you may not feel comfortable asking, but do they have children? That's going to be important because you need to know they do. Again, my buyer consultation I was in a couple of days ago, husband and wife, they have 3 kids, and I needed to know that they had 3 kids because I now need to know when is going to be the best time to look at homes. Are you available in the evenings? Are you going to be available during the weekdays, or is weekends better? What does your day-to-day schedule look like so I can meet you when it's convenient? So that's why it's important. Are there pets, right? You need to know that. So, certain things that may happen. What is their move-in date? What is their lifestyle? What is their lifestyle? Why is that important? Well, because you might uncover things that they want to be close to. Maybe dining, shopping is super important to them, or maybe they fly out of town quite frequently and they want to be closer to the airport, right? All those different questions. What's motivating them to buy or for their home search, right? Is it their first home? Cool. That's a whole nother conversation that you have to educate them on. Do they need to upsize, downsize? Is it an investment? All those things. Property information. Again, this is one's for buyers, this one's for sellers. But during that discovery stage, you really need to see. For sellers, it's important to know, are there any restrictions on showings? Again, we might ask some of these questions, but is it structured in a way that not only makes sense, but allows the flow of the experience to be exceptional? Property information. If you're going to do an open house, do they want an open house? If so, what days would be good for them? Do they work from home? Right? And that's going to kind of be tricky with those showings and stuff. So you got to talk about that process and what that looks like. What's motivating them to move? And then it also, for your own reference, as you go and start building the description and stuff, you start talking about, the home features all the way down here. So you can take a look at those and circle or check what that looks like. Maybe you're working with a TC and you can easily have this information from the appointment, and now it's going to the TC. So now the TC, when they reach out to the client or whoever, they're going to be a lot more educated to know, what that client prefers, what they're looking for, and just a good feel for the transaction as a whole. Okay, so that's why these questionnaires during that discovery phase is super, super important. The other thing, right? Actively listen, talk less. This is why I love the questions, right? What's motivating you to move? Whoop, right? We're going to be quiet. And then who's ever been on a call and a lead comes in and you're just like going. You don't give them a second to chat because we're afraid that if they start talking, they're going to tell us, oh yeah, I got to go or whatever it is, right? Have comfortability in the silence if there is any with that, but we need to actively listen to their needs. That's why writing down notes and things like that is super important, because I don't know about you, but you know, we have to remember so much in our head on a day-to-day basis that it's sometimes very difficult. Probably the biggest piece on stage 2 or that discovery phase is setting clear expectations. Setting clear expectations. What do I mean by that? Well, we were talking a little bit earlier about if it's a buyer, you know, financing. Cool. Do you have, you know, are you W-2 or are you not? You know, we might need to talk to this lender for that or anything like that for that part of it. Also, what does that buying process look like? This is where you're going to dive deeper in that. Hey, just so you know, of course, you're going to have the conversation about, you know, your buyer compensation, and you're going to go through all that. And I'm going to leave that for the brokers today because I'm not going to dive too deep in that. But you want to make sure that you're explaining that and educating them on, you know, why that buyer broker is required, or however you guys naming convention in your market. The other things is, you know, after today's meeting, I'm going to start sending you properties based on what we talked about. And as we start to identify ones that we want to physically go out and see, you know, we have to set the schedule, and you talk about that and when they're available. But then even after that part, once we identify a home, something you need to consider and think about is earnest money. What is earnest money? Cool. Well, earnest money is basically a deposit for the house. It gets applied towards closing, all that good stuff. And you talk about that. The reason why, again, some of this might sound basic, but a lot of times I'm in consultation with other agents and we just don't explain it enough. And then when we write an offer on a home and we send it to them to sign, and like, hey, what is this $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 earnest? What does that mean? Right? So you got to explain that. Who's going to take the money? What is the process of getting earnest to the escrow company? Okay, all those kind of things. Once we, you know, go under contract on a home, you know, there's an inspection period. What does that look like? Well, it's X amount of days. Through that inspection period, it is highly important that we get the home inspected. Maybe there's a pool, encourage the pool inspection. They're like, oh my gosh, well, I don't even know anybody. Cool. I have preferred contacts. You can use anybody you want, but I have some, you know, excellent vendors that I've worked with numerous times in the past and have found to be excellent with my clients. I'll make sure to get those over and share those with you. But again, you can choose however you want, but you know, I've had a great time with these folks. Through that inspection, you know, after the inspection period, then we have to send in our response to that. And what does that look like? You know, if certain things come up, you know, what are the most common things that come up during inspection? Just so you know, inspectors, and it may be different in different markets, but inspectors are going to call out lots of things, including like a cracked outlet cover. Okay, so as we go through this, we need to put some things that come up in the inspection into buckets, right? Critical, you can live with, not super important or anything like that. Okay, so again, just educating them through that process. Now, if we're talking about sellers and setting expectations, this is super important, right? Photography, getting the home cleaned, if there's going to be any staging done. You know, do they expect you to do open houses? Do they prefer not to do open houses? You know, when you go live and active, the showings, and set that expectation, right? Do they think that you're going to be at every single showing? Those are all things that you need to talk about ahead of time. And one of the big things that we just talked about a little bit ago is price reductions. If there's not anything you take away from today, except this, is setting those expectations up at front, or at least having the conversation. Don't be afraid to the point where you don't bring it up or talk about it until it's listed for 90 days and nothing's happening and you need to reduce the price and they're like, oh gosh, and this is the first time you're having the conversation. You gotta educate them and you gotta set those expectations up front in what that looks like. So again, through the discovery stage, whether it's a buyer or a seller, you want to have that one-on-one consultation, and through that, you want to get to know them better. Of course, it's a professional relationship, and you want to go through and ask them the typical, how many beds, how many baths. For sellers, where are you heading after this? What's motivating? All those different things. But you want to make sure that you set clear expectations and you educate them from start to finish. What does the whole process look like? As you're going through that, ask them, do you have any questions? Right? Ask them, does that align with what you were thinking? Does that align with what you were looking for? Things like that. So as we know, more times than not, issues that come up during a transaction is from a lack of communication and educating the client or setting those expectations at the front. So again, as we go through this and you guys leave the call today, I want you to have something physically written down of what is going to be part of your process through the buyer and seller journeys, and what are the key milestones or key points that you guys want to make sure this happens every single time so that you have consistent process and a consistent experience across the board with all your clients in there. Because here's the thing. If somebody refers you business, says, oh my gosh, Tony was fantastic. He made sure that this happened. And when we went under contract, I got the deal is done cookies or something. I got whatever it is. And then they don't get it, right? They're like, oh, I didn't get cookies. That small little bit of friction starts to mess with them, right? In a way that they're like, well, why did I get those, right? In there. So you just want to make sure you're consistent with that experience across the board. All right. Stage 3. This is important. Remember we talked about, over delivering. I like it. It sounds a little negative in the beginning, but I would like to under promise and over deliver in that sense, right? The other thing with this, if I go back to the discovery stage, guys, is I want you to communicate. I want you to articulate complexity of the transaction, but you're going to deliver simplicity. Okay, so you're articulating through this stage the complexity of the transaction. You're educating them, these milestones. But as you go through the process and these milestones, you're delivering that simplicity. Okay, so delivering during the transaction. You're going to over deliver and communicate with value. Okay, you're just not sending them random drip campaign emails like, hey, this is it. You want to make sure that it's valuable. You want to proactively share updates, right? Hey, we just went under the contract. I sent it over to the seller. They have X amount of time to get it back to us. As soon as I get something back, I will let you know. Simple as that. Dia.
Yeah, I was going to say when I was doing real estate, I would actually just set these emails up ahead of time for the milestones through a transaction. So all you had to do was just modify a little bit of what was going on. So once you submitted so you were actually telling your clients what you were doing. So because a lot of times we don't show our clients how much work goes into it. So instead of giving it all just all at one time, I would break it into these little milestones. Okay, so now we've opened escrow, we're doing this, we're waiting for whatever. If you're on the seller side, waiting for the earnest money to be deposited. If you're on the buyer side, kind of giving them instructions, you'll be hearing from the escrow officer, and then that's one part of it. Then the next email is about, I'll be setting up inspections for you. I'll be doing, so you have these emails that are set up for each stage of the transaction, and you're replicating that that activity over and over again for every client. So you really give great service no matter what.
Exactly, and it's almost like you can't fumble that, right? Because it's already set up, and you're making sure that you're hitting it every single time. And I love that, like the part of, hey, we just opened escrow. What now? Well, here's the next steps. Here's what to expect, and that can be put in a simple email, or literally bulleted. Like, it does not have to be complicated. You can leverage ChatGPT for a buyer journey drip campaign in there. Maybe I'll create a prompt and send it to you guys so you guys can just easily do that. But yeah, those milestones, it's like, well, what now? What to expect? And if you want to take it a step further, maybe it's, you're inserting, instead of that, a traditional email, you're putting a video in there. Like, hey, congratulations, you just opened escrow. Here's what to expect now. Now, again, not super long. Don't make it complicated in that sense. But again, it helps you stay in front of them. They're hearing, they're seeing you. And it's just, again, a good experience. So again, go through just a plain piece of paper and write down what are those important milestones and what are you going to deliver on during those milestones. And
Justin, question for you. Do you recommend when you do those, do you recommend doing it by a text video or an email video?
I think text would probably be better just for deliverability. And I mean, as we know, text messages have like, I'm not going to say 100% open rate. I'm going to go with 99.99999. But it's, as we know, text messages, we pretty much open all of them. Emails, they could go to junk, they could, whatever it may be. And sometimes text is just easier to that. Maybe you try both and see. But I would definitely lean towards text. Good question. And you can create, there's platforms like BombBomb, fairly inexpensive monthly, and it goes right into your email. It's attached to your email, which is also giving them an exceptional experience, because BombBomb can have a integration in Google Chrome or your browser. It's in your email. So if something comes up in the transaction and you don't, here's the other thing, guys, with text and email sometimes is tone can be taken different ways, right? So if something came up and it's just like a hard period or something like that, and you don't do a smiley face, like everyone has their own way of how we read into things. But if it's an exciting moment, maybe I love Loom 2, Dia, love it. So that's another great video one too. Quick, easy, very user friendly, and inexpensive. So Loom, LOOM, or BombBomb or anything like that. But in video, right now, if I just sent you this training, or I sent you an email about an update or something that happened in the transaction, it can be taken several different ways. So again, email can just be a lot better, and it really shows your communication. So you want to proactively share those updates. As soon as things come in, you want to make sure that you're communicating that to them. Offer creative solutions to challenges. Okay, so maybe that could be in the video or something. If something comes up like, hey, I just want to give you a quick update. This came up on title, or this came up on title, but no worries. This is actually pretty common in there. The team's working on it, or whatever it may be. Or, hey, I got this update, the inspection scheduled here. Just want to let you know that on there. But maybe if there's challenges that come up, you need to be prepared, or have vendors and people ready to go, like in the inspection, if there's even, the roof gets inspected and there's something else that they have to do, or HVAC or whatever it may be, you just want to make sure that you have solutions ready to go for them. And of course, like Dee and I were just talking about, celebrate those milestones. So offer acceptance, what does that look like? Okay, that's exciting. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just wanted to let you know, congratulations on your offer being accepted. You can call them on the phone or whatever it may be. After the offer is accepted, again, maybe you're delivering cookies or something, or something to them just to celebrate that milestone, right? Because it's an exciting journey through this. It's stressful for everyone involved, but it's an exciting journey for them to go through this. After the inspection is done, maybe you get past that, response. We call it Binzer here in Arizona. I'm not sure what you guys call it, but it's your response to the inspection. You're sending it to the seller. And, once that comes back and it's accepted, it's like that is another milestone that we definitely want to celebrate with the client. So again, as you're going through those different milestones, what does your communication look like? Or what does the celebration look like for all those little moments? Because again, you want to keep the momentum going. They start in the beginning, they're super excited. And as we all know, by the time we get to the end of the transaction, it's a lot of times like everyone's exhausted and for through the whole thing, just because it's such a, it is a long process. And that is something that we need to communicate. To Dia's point, we need to explain the complexity of the transaction, but we need to make it as smooth and simple as possible for them. But there is a lot. Consumers don't understand everything that we're doing behind the scenes. The team, your escrow team, your lenders, your inspectors, your all those people, your transaction coordinator, whoever's involved. There's just there's a lot of, it's a big spider web of everyone connected throughout that process. Does anybody currently do any type of milestone celebrations? Like, hey, our offer got accepted, or obviously, typically most agents, we do closing gifts, right? Or we just wait till the end of the transaction. But again, you want to make sure that this journey and this process, you keep the momentum. You keep the momentum going. Even like you can even personalize your text check-ins. Like, hey, I still haven't heard back from, if it's taking a little bit longer, still haven't heard back from your offer yet. But just so you know, I'm on it. I'm reaching out to the agent, just making sure everything's pushing forward. So Bina said she sends them personalized video text. I love it. All right, stage 4. We're actually let's talk about this, right? Some more of that memorable touch points. So some ideas, those moving day kits. And really, this goes hand in hand, whether it's a buyer or a seller. Okay, so moving day, of course, they're going to need snacks, water, maybe packing supplies. Once you get to past the inspection period, most times in transactions, once you get past that inspection period and buyer and seller are good, things are moving forward, it's almost like a sigh of relief because you got through a big chunk of it, right? Now, if there's financing involved, hopefully that all is still going great, but that is an awesome opportunity to say, hey, time to start packing. Like you're going to drop off a couple cardboard boxes you're getting from Home Depot or a moving company or something like that. I just wanted to celebrate this with you. We're getting close to the end. I'm going to drop off a couple cardboard boxes and tape and whatever it may be in there so you can start packing. Just small little things help tremendously. Handwritten thank you notes, something that we don't see a lot anymore, but those can go a long way. So maybe you already have a stack ready to go, written. You're just writing a name on it or something. Again, you want your process set up in a way that it's plug and play. It's ready to go. You have everything you need ready to go at any given time for that. And then, of course, personalized closing gifts or closing party. We're going to talk about post-closing and follow-up, but something to consider, right? I think that we all have done closing gifts at some level for that, but think about other unique ways that you can really set the experience, right? Just the cherry on top. We've talked about this before in some of our trainings, but closing parties. Tell them that you're going to, again, depending on price point and what you can do and all that good stuff legally in your market, but maybe you're going to host a housewarming party for them. Or maybe you're taking the sellers out for a nice little happy hour or, tapas or something, or just to celebrate with them. An experience, I think we can all agree to this. Would we rather have something physical and tangible, a gift that, obviously there's a lot of cool gifts out there like Cutco and all that kind of stuff. But would you rather have a very cool experience, going out and, having a fun time, or I don't know, maybe it's Top Golf or some, whatever it is, right? And you don't even necessarily have to be there for that, but just know that, going out to dinner with them or lunch or hosting a housewarming party goes such a long way for them. And it's huge because you are now, hosting a little housewarming party for them, and they're inviting their friends and family. Maybe the neighbors are coming, whatever it may be. Whether you're there or not, they are talking about it. right? Oh yeah, my agent just dropped off, some of these charcuterie platters, whatever it may be. Depending on price point, maybe you have different tiers and structures of what you do for them, but that is such a cool experience. Maybe it's a family that's closing on a home and you're, sending them off to the movies, or something, or doing something fun in the park, or something like that. Think about those cool experiences that would really just, help elevate, again, the experience that they're having. And it goes a lot further than maybe some type of closing gift or gift card or something like that. Post-closing follow-up. This is where a lot of us fail. And it's just something because we have a lot on our plate at every given time. But you want to make sure that you stay connected with your clients. You want to make sure. If all your past clients are not in your database right now, that is step one. Just to know and remember who your past clients are. Step one is, are they in your database? Are they tagged as VIP or past client or whatever it is? And then what does that drip look like on them? Are they getting video updates in a drip campaign or something, a week after? Hey, your first week in the home, just wanted to stop by and drop this off. Or if it's going to be an email or text or a video, how's it going? Week one, is there anything that I can help you with? I have a whole list of contacts that can make sure that if you need landscapers or pool people or anything like that, don't forget, I'm not here just to, get you in the house. I'm here after as well. In there. Maybe it's a month after you get another touch, or 6 months. And then after that, is it once a quarter? Are your past clients or your marketing warriors getting some type of communication or something from you? A modern pop by situation or something, so that you can stay in front of them. But you want to make sure that you're, of course, stay in front of them. The other thing you can think about is maybe annually, or quarterly, depending on, your client or your book of business, you're doing client appreciation events, right? I mean, there's agents I know that you don't need to do this, but like literally rent out a movie theater. It's a lot cheaper than you think it is. But depending on, again, your book of business stuff that you're doing, you're just getting them all together. The beautiful thing about that is if they've all had an exceptional experience and they're showing up for this, they're all talking about you. Oh yeah, do you help me with this? Or man, I didn't think I was going to actually be able to get in this home and all that. So again, getting the group together and letting them talk amongst themselves. That's the other beautiful thing about those housewarming parties, or even celebrations for sellers, because they're, you're getting them together and it starts to talk you up in that sense. Let's see. The other thing is that those home anniversaries, this goes back to your database. Don't forget about that. You want those reminders. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been a year since you bought your home. Where did time go? Or 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Maybe they just had a baby when they moved in. How's the baby doing? Or whatever the reason is in there. Highly, highly encourage, however you feel about social media, but you connect with your past clients, your clients on social media, Facebook. What's powerful about that is, one, they're going to tell you when their birthday is, which is awesome. But two, you get to see their life updates. Maybe they had that kid and you're posting about it, or you see things that are happening in their life and you take a minute to write a note card or say, hey, can't believe little Johnny just went to high school or graduated high school, went to college, or whatever it is. Congratulations, or you're an empty nester now or something. Those little points just really drive the relationship deeper. No matter what technology comes out in this world, we are still a service business. We are still a service business. We have to build relationships and trust. And if you guys want to, dive deeper in those relationships, you have to, celebrate those cool things with them. All right. And of course, you're going to ask them for those reviews. Hopefully, maybe you're getting some video reviews from them. That goes a long way, because you can include that in that discovery phase. You can include that in that first point of contact. Hey, here's a couple of reviews from past clients as well, from their experience. And it's a video of your client talking. Do something special for your client. Take them out to dinner. Do something and say, hey, for your time, would you mind doing a video for me? Make it easy to refer them to you. Maybe you're going to give them, you have like special little cards, VIP cards at the end. Hey, I love this transaction. I hope you had a great experience. Really loved working with you. Would love to work with more folks that you know that you can refer me business. Here's a special VIP card that you can give them, when you refer them over. Something like that. That way you can just reinforce. Again, you've asked for the review. You're giving them something for them to then hand out and be marketing folks for you guys. The other thing is, what type of VIP program do you have? Again, when I talk about database, all my past clients are tagged VIP. So they get special communication every quarter. Even in that VIP list, I have folks that have never done a deal with me, but they refer me business. They are just as important as any client of mine, right? Because I need to give them love. They're giving me love. They're sending me business. I need to give them some love, and I want to make them feel special as well. So do you have some type of VIP program or setup for those folks that are referring you guys all that business? Some tools and resources real quick for you to utilize. Most of us should have CRMs, if not all of us. We may have them, but we may not utilize them. Or maybe your brokerage offers a free one or something like that. At the end of the day, it can help you streamline your communication. It can help you stay on top of your data. Those those milestones, but also those anniversaries, those birthdays, notes, all that kind of stuff. Canva's awesome. You can create personalized client gifts. The links I'm going to give you guys here in a second are Canva templates that you can go in and edit. It's fantastic for personalizing those fun things in there. BombBomb or Loom, some type of video marketing in there. Incorporate that in your process, right? Those key milestone updates or just educational points. And now you have a new client and you set them up on a drip and they're getting this communication after each milestone or something like that. And of course, your reviews and testimonials. Highly encourage Google reviews. Highly encourage that you guys share that during, the consultation stage. Stroking out here. No, consultation stage, so that whether it's a buyer or a seller, because reviews are critically important. Folks will look at those just as they do if somebody is referring them to you. So you want to make sure those are great and make it easy for them to access. And if you can get some of your clients to give you video reviews, even better. Simply just set it up in your car and record, or it does not need to be crazy production or anything like that, but that's going to help you tremendously. Some key takeaways. Your client experience is going to either lead to trust, loyalty, and advocacy, or to them never working with you again or not referring you business. Okay, so you want to make sure that your client experience, that journey, is designed in a way that is going to keep the momentum going and just building that relationship deeper. So you want to make sure that it is absolutely exceptional. Those small gestures, right, create big impacts. They go under contract. Maybe you're giving them something, delivering something simple. When you get past the inspection period, maybe for seller or buyer, maybe you're giving them a couple cardboard boxes with a note on it, like congratulations, or hey, we're almost there, or we're on the final stretch, something like that in there. But those small gestures really do create a huge ripple in your business. And the biggest piece, stay connected beyond that transaction. Do not be a transaction-based business, be a relationship-based business, and make sure that you stay connected with them beyond that transaction, whatever that schedule looks like. I love quarterly, but it's up to you, whatever you guys want to do for that. But what does that look like? What's that communication look like? Is it a video? Is it you're stopping by real quick? Or you're doing that client appreciation event or something like that in there. So you just want to go through and make sure that whatever your end of transaction, beyond that transaction, that is honestly the most important piece to the puzzle through here, because most times we just overlook that part of it. So again, I highly, highly encourage you guys, just get a blank piece of paper. I'm going to share some stuff with you here right now so that you can go through and audit your own journeys for both your buyers and sellers, create your own process. It can be a one page, right? It can be a one page that you're just going through each of those milestones and you're bulleting at this milestone, this is what I'm going to deliver. At the discovery stage, this is what I'm going to deliver. at the, first point of contact. I want to make sure this always happens, whether it's a welcome packet between that first point of contact and that first meeting, whatever it may be. But I encourage you guys to actually write it down into reality. So I'm going to share this buyer questionnaire with you guys real quick. Let me do this. Template link. Create. Copy. All right. Everyone can go in this chat box real quick. Just click the link and it'll put it into your Canva. That's the buyer one. I'm going to get you guys the seller one. Oops, I don't want to download. Template link. And real quick, guys, it kind of goes hand in hand, but next week we're going to be talking about those drip campaigns and what does that look like? How can they be valuable? How can you modernize them and really make those more effective and not just a default, very not personalized experience for them. Actually, I'm going to do this, guys. I'm going to give you guys the link in here. Just please make a copy. So everybody look at the screen really quick. I am going to do editing. I may regret that, but hold on. Okay, hold on. Share, let me copy that link one more time. All right, so when you click this link, please go to File, if you have Google, right? Go to File and make a copy. File, make a copy. Cool? If you forget, no big deal. All right, I'm putting that in there. If you want the PDF version of this, just email me. I'm happy to get it to you. I'll get it over to the EOG team as well, so that they can have it with that. So I already see somebody up there. Yep, just do File, make a copy. And this basically goes through a lot of things that we talked about today, but it's going to give you a structure of all those different stages and some ideas of what you can implement into your business through there. Again, all successful businesses come in and make sure that their client journey, their customer journey is designed in a way that is exceptional and just keeps them coming back to them. So if you don't think like Target even has a customer journey, you better believe that they do. Whether it doesn't matter any type of business, and we are all our own business, we want to make sure that that journey is amazing so that we can increase our referrals in 2025. Any questions, feedback? Did you guys at least get one gold nugget out of today?
Yeah, I just want to give you some feedback. I'm an office manager here in Laguna Niguel, and I just want to tell you that was one of the best presentations I've heard in a long time.
I appreciate that, Tony. You're Tony, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that so much, really. Anything I can do to help you guys, I'm happy.
You guys have any questions here, Sean?
How do we get a copy of this?
I just copied and pasted them. So I sent it to myself and I'll send it to you.
Perfect. Yeah. Tony, share it with the office. And again, I'll get this to the EOG team. So if anyone that doesn't get it, you guys will be able to.
When is the next meeting?
Next week.
Good question.
Next week.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
It is next Tuesday. I almost said Wednesday. So the 21st. Let me put this in the chat box for you as well. You can have this registration link. Man, my new monitor setup is everything, guys. Let me tell you, if you have multiple monitors, it's a game changer. Just nerding out a little bit. So next week, 1 o'clock next Wednesday, drip campaigns that deliver. We're going to talk about how you can leverage that in your email marketing, but not just normal. We've all seen drip campaigns. How can you make it more personalized? How can you leverage technology like ChatGPT, BombBomb, Loom, videos, all those things in there to make it a much more better experience and convert more business. So we're going to talk about that and how you can build out those different campaigns.
Awesome.
Cool deal, my friends.
Thanks so much, Justin. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. Hope to see you in California one day soon again.
Yes, I have a feeling it may be soon.
Okay.
Good.
Awesome, guys. I appreciate
Bye,
you
everyone.
all. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you guys.
Spread the word. This is so worth attending. There's so much you can learn from this if you've got a few minutes to spare once in a while. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.